Good afternoon, students. I hope you all are safe at home. Let's start with our today's topic of English prose. Let's recap. In the last lessons, we had seen about the activities done in the school and the busy life of a teacher's activities. She do it at her home and in the school too. Hope you all must have understood that lessons very well. Okay? Fine. Now, in today's lesson, we are going to learn about the story of the Bremen town musicians. So now, I am going to narrate the story, students. All of you listen very carefully. Once there was a donkey who had worked hard for his master. As now he has grown weak, he could not do much work. So his master began to treat him ill-natured. His master used to not give him food as he wanted to save money by not spending on donkey's food. So the poor donkey left the house. He thought he had a good strong singing voice, so he decided to go to Bremen town and earn his living as a town musician. On the way, he met the old dog, who was also kicked out of house by cruel master. The dog was afraid that how he will earn his bread. But donkey convinced the dog that he too have a good voice like him. So we shall go to Bremen and sing for townspeople, and we will be well paid there. So both of them went on together. Suddenly they heard a cat mewing sadly. They both asked cat the reason for crying. She said sadly that her mistress is going to drown her as she is old and cannot catch the mice. So her mistress cannot need her anymore. So where should we go? The donkey and the dog both asked the cat to come to Bremen with us. Now they three travelled together for some time, till they came upon a farmyard. There they heard cock's loud wailing. So they inquired with the cock, and he replied, "My mistress is preparing the feast and told the cook to kill me for the feast." So the donkey invited the cook to join the band of musicians. Bremen was still a long way away for them. On the way, they had to cross a forest. It was getting dark. So the cock flew to the top of the tree to look around for the shelter. He saw an old house, and all the four friends decided to take a rest there for the night. It was quite dark by the time they reached the house. Through the windows, they saw some robbers having food at a large table inside. The four animals had an idea to give their first performance in front of the robbers. They thought the robbers would be so pleased with their performance and will happily share the food and can also pay something for their performance. So the donkey placed his four legs on the windows, and the dog jumped on the donkey's back, and the cat on the dog's back. and the cock sat on the cat's head. Then all together at once began to sing their wonderful song. But the music frightened the robbers, then can only hear the terrible noise and saw the huge shadow of the animals. Robbers jumped from the table and disappeared into the forest. The poor animals were puzzled, but they gladly sat down at the table and had a dinner. Then they put out the light and went to sleep. The donkey lay down in the yard, the cat near the stove, the dog on the doormat, and the cock on the beam of the roof. The robbers had not gone very far. The leader of them saw the house dark and quiet. So he sent one of his men to see is it safe to go back to the house. As the robbers had kept their stolen things in that house and wanted them back, the men went into the house and saw the cat's size and thought they are burning coals. He tried to pick up one to light his candle, but it frightened the cat. The angry cat flew at him and crushed his face. This frightened the robber and he ran out of the house. As he was running, the dog on the doormat bit his leg hard. He lost his balance and fell on the donkey. The donkey woke up suddenly and gave him a smart kick with his hind legs. And all this while the cock had been screaming cock-a-doodle-doo in his ears and flapping its wings around his head. The robber was terribly frightened and somehow got back to his gangs. And in a afraid voice, he told them that the house was full of monsters and deadly creatures who bit, scratched, kicked, and attacked him in the dark. So the robbers never went back to the house, and the four friends found enough money in the house to live on their happiness and comfort. That is why the musicians never went to the Bremen. So, I hope everyone have understood the story which I had narrated you all just now. Now students, it's a reading time. So please, everybody open your textbook, page number 58. Take the pencils in your hands for marking the hard words. Wherever I feel like explaining the meaning of the hard words, I will explain you all. Okay? So let's start with the lesson number 27. The Bremen Town Musicians. Once there was a donkey who had worked long and hard for his master. Now he had grown weak and could not do much work. So his master began to treat him unkindly. Underline the word unkindly. He even began to starve the donkey. He wanted to save the money he spent on the donkey's food. In the end, the poor donkey left the house. He believed he still had, underline the word believed, he still had a good, strong singing voice. So he decided to go to Bremen town, underline the word Bremen, and earn his living as a town musician. Underline the word musician. On the way, he met an old dog. He too had been kicked out, underline the word kicked, of the house by a cruel master. The dog was afraid. How will I earn my bread? He said. Why, you have a voice as good as mine, said the donkey. Let us both go to Bremen and sing for the townspeople. Underline the word townspeople. We shall be well paid there. So the two companions, underline the word companions, went on together. Suddenly, they heard a cat mewing sadly, underline the word mewing, with tears in his voice. Why are you crying? They asked. How can I be happy knowing that my mistress is going to drown me? Underline the word mistress, underline the word drown. I am old and would only like to sit by the fire and sleep. I cannot catch mice as I did before, so my mistress does not need me anymore. Where am I to go? Come with us to Bremen. You have a sweet voice and you know night music. You too can be a town musician, said the donkey. Now the three travelled together, underline the word travel, for some time till they came upon a farmyard, underline the word farmyard. There they heard a cock's loud wailing, underline the word wailing. When they made enquiries, underline the word enquiries, the cock told them, my mistress is preparing a feast, underline the word feast, for her guests. She has told the cook to kill me for the feast. I am so frightened. So the donkey invited the cock to join the band of musicians. Bremen was still a long way away. On the way, they had to cross a forest. As it began to get dark, the cock flew to the top of a tree to look around for the shelter. He saw an old house among the trees. The four friends decided to rest there for the night. It was quite dark by the time they reached the house. Through the window, they saw some robbers feasting at a large table inside. Underline the word feasting. The animals had a clever idea. Why not give their first performance here? Underline the word performance. The robbers would be so pleased that they would happily share their food with the four musicians. They might even pay them for their performance. So the donkey placed his forelegs on the window ledge. Underline the word forelegs. Underline the word ledge. The dog jumped on the donkey's back and the cat on the dog's. The cock perched on the cat's head. Underline the word perched. Meaning of a perch means sat on the edge of something. I repeat again. Meaning of a perch means sat on the edge of something. Then all at once and all together they began to sing their wonderful song. Underline the word wonderful. Strangely, underline the word strangely. The music only frightened the robbers. Underline the word frightened. They only heard a terrible noise. Underline the word terrible. And saw the huge shadow cast by the animals together. They sprang from the table. Underline the word sprang. And taking to their heels. Underline the word taking to their heels. Now, taking to their heels means to run away very quickly. I repeat again. Taking to their heels means to run away very quickly. Disappeared. Underline the word disappeared into the forest. The four friends were puzzled. Underline the word puzzled. But they gladly sat down at the table and had a hearty dinner. Underline the word hearty. Hearty means consisting of large amounts of something. I repeat again. Meaning of hearty means consisting of large amounts of something. Then they put out the light and went to sleep. The donkey on the straw in the, underline the word straw, yard, the cat near the stove, the dog on the doormat, and the cock on the beam of the roof. Underline the word doormat, underline the word beam. Now the robbers had not gone very far. Their leader saw the house became dark and quiet. So he sent a man to see if it was safe to go back to the house. The robbers had kept all their stolen riches in that house and wanted them back. The man went into the house on tiptoe. Underline the word tiptoe. He saw the cat's eyes and thought they were burning the coals. He tried to pick up one to light his candle, but it frightened the cat. The angry cat flew at him and scratched his face. Underline the word scratched. Scratch means spoil. This frightened the robber. He turned to run out of the house. As he ran, the dog on the doormat bit his leg hard. He stumbled. Underline the word stumbled. And the meaning of stumbled is lost one's balance and fell. I repeat again. The meaning of stumbled means lost one's balance and fell. He stumbled and fell on the donkey. The donkey, woken up suddenly, gave the robber a smart kick with its hind legs. And all this while, the cock had been screaming. Underline the word screaming. Screaming means shouting. Cock-a-doodle-doo in his ears and flapping his wings. Underline the word flapping. The meaning of flapping means waving. And I repeat again. The meaning of flapping means waving and flapping his wings around his head. The robber nearly died of fright. Underline the word fright. Fright means fear. Somehow he got back to his gang. In a trembling voice, underline the word trembling. The meaning of trembling means shaking a little. I repeat again. The meaning of trembling means shaking a little. In a trembling voice, he told them that the house was full of monsters. Underline the word monsters. And deadly creatures. Underline the word deadly creatures. Meaning of deadly means likely to cause death. I repeat again. Meaning of deadly means likely to cause death. Who bit and scratched and kicked. Underline the word kicked. And attacked you in the dark. So the robbers never went back to the house. The four friends found enough money in the house to live on there in happiness and comfort. Underline the word comfort. That is why the musicians never went to Bremen. So I hope all have understood this story very well and all have enjoyed also. Thank you, students. Stay home, stay safe.